you ever felt an unease near water, a strange sensation that something is watching you from the depths? Tonight, I'll share a story that will make you think twice about what lurks beneath the surface. This is the tale of the shadow beneath the lake. It all started during a summer trip to a remote cabin by Clearwater Lake. The lake was the kind of place you'd see on postcards. Crystal clear water reflecting towering pine trees, with not a single sign of human activity beyond the occasional fishing boat. It was supposed to be a relaxing getaway for me and my two friends, Liam and Sophie. We were city kids, eager to escape the noise and chaos for a week of peace and quiet. The first few days were perfect. We swam in the lake, grilled burgers by the fire, and stayed up late under a canopy of stars. But on the third night, everything changed. It started with the sounds. Around midnight, as we sat by the fire, we heard a faint splashing coming from the lake. At first, we thought it was a fish or maybe a bird diving into the water. But then the splashes became rhythmic, deliberate, as if something or someone was walking through the water toward us. Liam grabbed a flashlight and shone it across the lake. The beam cut through the darkness, illuminating the calm surface of the water. There was nothing there. Sophie laughed nervously, brushing it off as our imaginations getting the better of us. But I couldn't shake the feeling that we were being watched. The next morning, we decided to explore the lake on a rowboat we'd rented from the cabin owner. As we paddled to the center of the lake, I noticed how unnaturally clear the water was. You could see straight to the bottom, where smooth rocks and patches of aquatic plants swayed gently in the current. But then I saw something else, a shadow. It was faint, like a smudge on a window, but it was moving, gliding just beneath the surface. I pointed it out to Liam and Sophie, but by the time they looked, it was gone. They teased me about it, calling it a lake monster and making exaggerated growling sounds. I laughed along, but deep down I felt uneasy. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept replaying the image of that shadow in my mind. Around 2 a.m., I heard it again, the splashing. But this time, it was louder, closer. I crept out of bed and looked out the window. The moonlight bathed the lake in an ethereal glow, and for a moment, everything seemed calm. But then I saw it. Ripples spreading across the surface, starting from the center of the lake and moving outward. At the center of the disturbance was a dark figure, standing waist deep in the water. It was too far away to make out details, but I could tell it wasn't human. Its proportions were wrong. The limbs too long, the head slightly tilted as if it was listening for something. I woke Liam and Sophie, dragging them to the window. But by the time they looked, the figure was gone. They accused me of dreaming or playing a prank, but I knew what I'd seen. The next day I refused to go near the lake. While Liam and Sophie swam and laughed, I stayed on the shore, scanning the water for any sign of the shadow. That's when I noticed something odd. The birds and insects were silent. The vibrant chorus of nature that had greeted us on the first day was gone. The only sound was the gentle lapping of the water against the shore. That evening, Sophie suggested we take one last rowboat ride before heading back to the city the next morning. Reluctantly, I agreed. As we paddled out, the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple. The lake was eerily calm, the water like glass. Halfway across, the boat suddenly lurched. It felt as if something had struck it from below. Liam laughed, saying we must have hit a log, but then it happened again, harder this time. Sophie screamed as the boat tipped, and we all tumbled into the water. The water was freezing, and the shock of it stole the breath from my lungs. I struggled to surface, gasping for air, when I felt it. A hand, cold, slimy, and impossibly strong, gripping my ankle. I kicked wildly, breaking free, and swam toward the overturned boat. Liam and Sophie were already clinging to it, their faces pale with fear. "What was that?" Sophie whispered, her voice trembling. None of us had an answer. We managed to right the boat and scramble back inside, paddling furiously toward the shore. As we reached the dock, I glanced back and saw it again, the shadow watching us from the center of the lake. Its form was more distinct now, humanoid but twisted, its glowing eyes piercing through the darkness. We left the cabin that night, abandoning our belongings in our rush to get away. To this day, I can't explain what we saw, but I know one thing. Clearwater Lake is not as serene as it seems. If you ever visit, stay away from the water. And if you hear splashing in the middle of the night, don't look. Some things are better left unseen. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more chilling tales. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Got a story suggestion? Leave it in the comments below. See you in the next nightmare.